Hello everybody. This video will be consciousness versus subconsciousness. It's very important to make the proper distinction because all aspects of our lives are dependent upon this distinction. What is consciousness? What is subconsciousness? It's very hard to tell them apart because the two depend upon each other to exist on this plane of reality. Think of this plane of reality as a specific frequency range. Everything is frequencies. We are living in a frequency range. This is what is known as a dimension. This is our dimension. If what Dolores Cannon says is true, alternate dimensions are happening at the same time on the same space, just simply operating at a different frequency range. Frequency ranges are determined by the contents of the atmosphere. How much oxygen, how much chemical crap, how much necessary for proper life functions, how much just enough to pollute the body to barely keep it alive, but mostly toxic. If you really think about it, we humans should not be able to exist because our life functions do not promote growth and survival. They promote self-destruction. Consciousness is the light that fills your body, which is also at its basic core just another frequency range. However, the frequency range known as your consciousness, which science labels as the central nervous system, is really living light. Living light because your consciousness is able to produce thoughts. Only those that can create can produce thoughts. Those that can create are usually creators or gods. What's also interesting to notice that this living light, which is your consciousness, which manifests as your perception of reality based on your collective memories and library of information, is, in a sense, trapped in the body because it cannot go beyond its borders, at least not while our perception of reality is tuned into the frequency range that makes up this reality. It's also been demonstrated that at death, when somebody dies, a very small but measurable amount of weight disappears from the body. Combine this with accounts of people who have seen spheres of light leaving bodies after someone just died. It's easy to see that the living light that I just talked about is a consciousness, is the true manifestation of the individual, is who we are after we leave our bodies. In essence, we do not die. You can either view it as pure souls from like the Tree of Life in the movie Avatar, or you can view it as parasites. That's entirely up to you. Now then, what is the subconscious? The subconscious is the chakra system. Now, remember that every chakra has its own color. There are 7 chakras total recognized among everybody. And they start from the top of the head to the end of the tailbone. The one that balances them all is the one in the middle, the heart chakra. How does it balance them all? Because it receives input from all 3 chakras above and all three chakras below. All information passes through the heart chakra. Now, it's important to understand, and I think I made some earlier videos, I don't want to repeat too much, but each chakra has its own consciousness. For example, everything related with the solar plexus chakra is all about gluttony, the desire to have more money, the desire for self-pleasure. Does not need to be sexual, it's just a general perception of reality. And if you look around, there are many people who have fallen in this category. If you go one below, it's the sacral chakra, which means someone's really horny all the time. I was with such a person for a 6-month period, and believe me, enough is never enough. It's also important to note that while each chakra has its own consciousness, they are still sub-consciousnesses, because essentially it is your light, your living light, your consciousness that fills the body, which is made up of at least 7 subconsciousnesses. So in essence, you as the conscious being, the creator, can operate within each chakra at will. Like for example, if you want to have a good performance on a very romantic night, you could literally tune into the sacral chakra. However, the best way of doing it is by first going through the heart chakra. So in essence, it's always good to have the heart chakra consciousness integrated with all other consciousnesses, because it's the balance. It's the chakra that receives all information from the higher dimensions and the lower dimensions. Now keep in mind, each chakra operates within a specific frequency range, within the totality, which is your body, like the overall crossing streets is dangerous at night. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so to make sure I'm clear, your body is water and electricity. The electricity is your consciousness. The water is everything that is made up of this specific dimension, the physicality of things. Water at its base core, and blood and organs after that. Skeleton, whatever. Within your body, your physical body, there are points which in a sense collect energy. These are known as chakras. The only way for them to function is if living light, a consciousness, powers them. So you are powering the chakras in your body for them to function, for you to be alive. When you become disconnected from a chakra, there is a physical result usually. Like for example, you had a soul death. Soul death meaning that you were very much in love with somebody, like I was, and had your heart shattered in a million pieces by the end of it, like it happened to me. And then after that, I was unable to see love in anything in life for several years. That to me is a soul death. I had a soul rebirth eventually, when I just had too much negativity in my life, and somehow I managed to gather all the pieces back up. So in essence, it's the heart chakra that I dedicated a lot of time to in the beginning to fix before I could start working on my other chakras. Now, keep in mind, your consciousness, your living light, which exists whether this dimension or your body exists or not, is eternal. Your physical body, which has electromagnetic points called chakras, can only function as long as you are putting your light into them. When you are no longer doing so, you become dead. Your physical body becomes dead, and you leave the body. So, as one commenter stated, she can see the colors coming out of people. They're light, if you will. Not only people, but objects. This is a very important ability that I wish to have myself one day. Why? Because if every chakra is represented by a color, and every color represents something, that something should be universal to everything that emanates that specific chakra color. So in essence, if you see black coming out of the TV while you're watching the news, death is being thrown at you. If you see love in the form of two people having sex, that's the sacral chakra being thrown at you. Only if the color is red, because if it's a different color, it might mean something else entirely. Now, you rarely see anything about love, the heart color. In fact, I can't remember the last thing that I can say was pure in its message. But why is it important to know all this? The distinction between consciousness and subconsciousness? Because the subconsciousness is based on the rules of this reality, this set of frequencies, this dimension. So if you allow any of the chakras to go on autopilot mode, you are no longer in control.